You're looking at the best there
Austin
is.
316.
What do you guys want to talk about? I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Welcome back, guys. This is episode 14 of The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling podcast with Joe
and
Mike. Yeah. Let us talk to you. Today, it's a special episode. We have a special guest here. It's our first ever guest on the show. We have the creator and composer of the song you're hearing right now, Elevated. It's Kris Sobanski in the house tonight, guys.
What's going on, guys?
How we doing? It is good to have you here, man. It really is.
No, absolutely. I'm excited about, obviously, answering any questions or anything. Like, I'm sure a lot of fans throughout the world at this point are interested.
This is big.
They're
This
probably
is big.
curious. They're probably thinking,
Yes.
where did this song come from?
Yeah, exactly. They're like, you know, Will Ospreay, and then obviously Elevate, and then this band, It Lives, It Breathes. Like,
Yes.
who are they?
Who
like,
are these guys?
Yeah, like,
and we're gonna
We know
dive
who
into
they are
that.
because they're from around
Yeah,
here.
right. Kris is actually a good friend of ours. We happen to be on the show, and we're happy to have him here. This episode is going to consist of a segment where we kind of interview and talk to Kris about what the process was like getting his song used for Will Ospreay's theme in AEW right now. We have a bunch of questions lined up, and we're just going to dive right into them. Here we go. The song Elevated. When was this song written?
so originally, I actually wrote an instrumental that was supposed to be a Lives, It Breathes song.
Okay.
And basically, I think it was early 2017, maybe late 2016, somewhere around then. We were doing a whole bunch of wrestling covers. It Lives, It Breathes.
I remember it. I remember it. And it worked.
Yep.
We're going crazy with it. You know, I think we dropped like 1 or 3 at first. I forget if we did the 1 or 3. And they went off really well. We did videos with it. You know, us actually playing the instruments and everything else like that. It hit off. So we started doing it like, you know, every few weeks or every like month or so. We dropped like 3 new songs at a time. And eventually, basically, we got a message from Will Ospreay, I believe. I think in
No shit. It was from him
Facebook.
himself. You hear it here. It was Will Ospreay himself.
Wow.
And we got a message. It came in basically, hey, I love your covers. I love everything you do. You write me a theme. And basically,
Wow.
Nice.
we were all about it at the time.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I believe he was just, you know, coming up in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He was, I think that year he became a light heavyweight champion before he was
Nice.
a part of the
Yeah, I know he
heavyweights
did a
back
lot of
then.
New Japan before AEW and all that. He was really, really big
Well,
for
yeah,
that.
he just started AEW.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah.
And the only reason that he's here in AEW right now is because that contract finally expired with New Japan Pro, and Tony Khan broke out the wallet and scooped him up, you know?
Yeah, you see, in this situation, it really, really worked out for him now in AEW. Because I can only imagine the new crowd he's reaching in America and
exactly.
potentially even Canada. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
is AEW, do they get them in
It's
Canada?
gotta be. It's gotta be because they post different
For
time
sure.
zones for their shows. It's gotta be.
All right, so let's go through the process a little bit. You talked about how it was, you know, something you made as like a instrumental at first, like, and then it went to this and that. Tell us a little bit about the process of making the song and the stages of it and everything that goes into that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So basically, as I mentioned before, I said it was an instrumental that I had for It Lives, It Breathes. And
Just a
basically-
normal band song,
Yeah, I
right?
had a whole bunch of instrumentals, but when I found out about actually getting the opportunity to write a theme for a wrestler, I went, this is the instrumental I want to use right
It's
away.
hype. It's hype. Right away, too.
It
Boom.
is.
Yeah,
You know?
so basically, and I'm like, obviously, English wrestling, you hear like the horns and everything else
Yeah.
like that. Kind of like, it sounds like a, you know, some kind of like royalty, kind of like a.
It does. It's very majestic. You know, I feel like I listened to it a few times, and I feel like it's a very majestic theme song. It's triumphant.
It
You know,
is. It feels royal.
It fits Ospreay.
feels, you know what I'm saying?
Honestly,
Like,
Kris, it fits Ospreay perfect.
No,
It
absolutely.
really does.
So, and it ended up working out perfectly. So I took the instrumental, I sent it to my singer, Kevin, and he basically said, this works out perfectly. This is
yeah,
going
and
to
he
be...
slayed that too. I love
Yeah.
Kevin. I haven't talked to him in a while, but you know, he did a really, really good job with
Yeah,
that
Kevin,
one too.
he ended up writing the lyrics for it and everything else after. I just basically was the composer. I was like, here's the instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing, Kevin. Lily and he killed it getting
He
the
did.
lyrics together.
Absolutely.
I
Kevin
love that
always does a good
Osprey
job.
chant at the end too. The Osprey chant at the end's cool.
Yeah.
And then it was another situation. So basically, we also had Kane Churko involved. So basically, he helped actually us put the song together. So at first, like, we were having some issues of the structure and how we wanted the song to go.
It's always tough.
But
yeah.
Kane Churko is a very, very big wrestling fan. If anyone knows, he's a producer based out over there in Nevada, I think in Las Vegas. And
Nice.
And he
Works with Papa Roach,
yeah,
right?
Papa Roach. He
For
works
those of
with
you
like
who
a
don't
lot
know.
of big artists, and he basically helped us structure the song. Basically, once we kind of had everything there, basically organize it, and then I sent the mix to him. So I went, "Hey, you pretty much know what you want to hear out of it too." I was like, "Here's like all the stems. Here's everything. Mix it up and do your things. You're probably better than me at doing that than I, you know."
And did you make
Yeah.
all the? Did you compose all the brass and all those horns going on? It
Yeah,
sounds
so-
like there's some brass going on
So
there, right?
every instrumental you hear, the brass, the guitar, the drums, everything was composed by me. I literally
Nice.
basically that whole
awesome.
instrumental, as you heard it, was pretty much like I would say 95% done. Basically, before when it was just a demo. So basically, just
Okay.
adding the vocals and basically the structure, like I mentioned before, just kind of seeing what order we want to put the chorus or like the drops and everything else like that.
You killed it.
And now, Chris, did AEW mention how long they would like to use the song "Elevated" for Will Ospreay's official theme?
So as far as right now, I know that Will Ospreay wants to use the song. He had an issue before where he made his initial debut before he signed the contract.
Wembley.
Yep. So he had, I think it was on Dynamite, I believe, and they used one of his other entrance themes that he had, and he actually made a post on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it these days.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's-
we're still trying to figure
yeah.
that out. We talk about that on every
We do.
episode.
We do.
Is it
So-
Xing? Is it
Do you
tweeting?
tweet or do you X?
So he was on X and he posted that you guys basically used the wrong song. Basically, you got to use Elevated. They used it for obviously the big event at Wembley, and then obviously now they're using it. So I think Will has the control in his hands, and he wants
is
them.
awesome.
He wants them using it, and as long as they allow that, and I think it's probably very much under contract on. He probably has certain things that he's allowed to. Portray himself. So, every wrestler wants to have
It's
their
that
personality.
likeness, they gotta have, and that travels with them, so I can understand why he was pissed. Like, dude, this is my theme.
Yeah.
We don't want no generic jobber theme. This guy is one of the best right now, and that's really cool how he fought for it too.
And actually, we actually had an issue with New Japan Pro Wrestling. This was like maybe a couple of years ago, maybe more than I forget exactly.
Okay.
They didn't want to use the theme because they have to pay royalties every time
Right.
the theme is used and all that stuff.
Right.
So basically, everyone online thought that it was us that wasn't allowing Will Ospreay to use the theme. Yeah, but
And that
actually
was
we were
not
like,
the
no,
case.
use it. Like we don't actually take we just get the streaming royalties and some
Right.
other stuff. We don't actually take too much. So like they were kind of just like trying to avoid that and use one of their in-house guys to save that money. But eventually, I think the crowd and like everyone else, the fans were just like, oh, let's bring back Elevated.
Yeah, we want that song.
Yeah, that song. Everyone, that's what they.
wow, what an impact.
And
huh?
it just
That must
works
feel
too.
good,
It
yeah.
works.
And
yeah.
we actually ended up writing a second theme for Will Ospreay. It's
Oh, no way.
It's the It Lives and Breathes song "Rise," and the lyrics is like "Rise," basically starting a new empire or whatever
Okay,
like that. So
okay.
I'm not sure if you guys ever follow New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I have watched some New Japan Pro. I did not notice the song though. I did not notice that.
So that was supposed to be a second theme, but for whatever reason, New Japan, they didn't want to use it. I think it's another thing with money, and they didn't want to pay like royalties.
yeah,
or anything
I guess
else
they're
like
cheap. Pay
And,
up, motherfuckers.
So basically, that was the issue with that. But we ended up just releasing the song as it was, and we know, as writers, that it was basically, the new Will Ospreay theme that never got released. But that's one to check
Wow,
out.
you
Right
heard
now.
it first in
Yeah.
the source,
Yeah.
folks.
Right.
Source Wrestling Podcast. Will Ospreay had a second theme written by our friend Chris, and it still has not been used because Elevated's just fucking killing it.
Yeah, maybe it'll get used one day. It's a good one too.
That would be cool. That would be really cool.
So, Chris, I gotta ask, like, how it felt hearing your song played in front of 16,000 people at the Greensboro Coliseum for AEW Revolution.
I was gonna say it's an absolutely great feeling every time I see Will Ospreay coming out anytime to any arena. It doesn't matter how many people. It really it's such a good feeling to
So
see.
cool.
Yeah, it's such a awesome feeling.
And not only did he come out to it in front of 16,000, he came out to it and then had one of the best matches he's ever had versus Konosuke Takeshita.
I haven't really seen him wrestle a lot,
Oh,
but I mean,
dude,
that was
he's
pretty
the aerial
intense, man.
assassin.
It was,
It's amazing.
just the
what he can
tightness
do.
of the moves and
Very,
the,
very
and the
tight.
force behind things and the I don't know, man. It was the crowd standing up in the middle, the whole
Dude.
crowd. Like, that was crazy.
When Will
man.
Ospreay shows up, it's a big deal, man.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was reading some reviews online and people were giving it A+ rating on that match.
Yeah, the match was out of control. And to be honest with you, I've talked about this to a few people. That match was the match of the night. Obviously, it didn't go on last because of Sting's final farewell match, but that match stole the show for me. It really did.
I don't know if it stole the whole show for me.
Go back and
because-
rewatch it, Mike.
Just because Sting. Last
I know,
match.
yes.
And you sold me on it because I was like, yeah,
I
Sting
know.
last match, whatever.
I love Sting.
But,
There's nobody
yeah,
out there that loves Sting
Sting's
more than
last
me.
match was
you know?
like, I haven't seen a career end more perfectly.
Yeah, it was
like, that's
very
why I
poetic.
was like, yeah, you're right, but
Yeah.
there was an amazing headlining match.
It was, but I mean, like wrestling wise, not just story, wrestling, professional wrestling wise, that match just took the cake for me.
For sure.
Shout out to both of those dudes. I know they woke up hurting the next day.
Matter of time before you see Ospreay as the world champ, I'd say.
Yeah, just, it's got to be set in stone. All right, Chris, here's one that I don't know if you know about. Did you realize that Stone Cold Steve Austin himself recently put up an IG post, an Instagram post, using your version of his theme song as background music? That post actually has over 20,000 likes right now. It just happened on the 23rd of February. Did you know about this?
Actually, damn, I didn't know about that. That's sick though. That's awesome.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. I remember just scrolling on IG the other, the week that it happened or whatever. And whenever he posts something, I'm on it because that's my guy. And I said, oh my God, he's using, Chris's version. And I forgot about it until we asked you on the show. And I said, that's got to be one of the questions I asked him. If he knows that Stone Cold Steve Austin himself has posted and used your version of his music.
Were you a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan?
Actually, I was a big Shawn Michaels fan.
Ooh,
which
okay, the
obviously,
sexy boy.
WrestleMania 14, was it 14?
14 versus Austin.
Yep, that was the big, Shawn Michaels kind of had to retire because he had
The back.
the
Yep,
back
the
problem.
back.
I was
Yep.
there.
That was
Oh,
in
you were
Boston.
there.
It was in Boston.
That was at the, I think it was known as the Fleet Center.
The Fleet
then. Yeah, that was in Boston. That was like the first big WrestleMania that I remember growing up. And I always say it whenever somebody asks me my favorite Mania. It's that. Just for that match, Iron Mike Tyson as the special enforcer. And we all know what happened, at the end.
How could we forget?
Yeah,
it was kind of a little awkward, I felt, when he turned on DX. It was kind of...
He laid Shawn Michaels out,
But,
though. And then
yeah.
they draped the Austin
I
316
was
shirt
there,
over
like I
him.
said.
Yeah.
And Shawn
Mike was
Michaels
there,
was in
guys.
the ring as we were filing out, and it was
He sold it
emptying
that
in
long,
Yeah,
yeah.
he sold it for a long time. So that was the first sell like that on a loss that I had ever seen. That's how I was introduced to that whole thing.
Pretty
So I was
crazy.
like, holy crap!
I'll be
the
honest-
show's over and he's still going.
I'll be honest with you, at that time, I thought that was like the coolest WrestleMania ever. I remember.
It was.
It
watching
still
that.
is, man.
Yeah.
We had The Undertaker versus Kane for the first time at WrestleMania 14.
It was. I was there.
Yeah. It's just,
I keep
wish
saying
I was.
that, but now
I was
I'm
on
like,
my
every time you
couch.
say everything, I'm like, and I was there. I was young,
Yes.
so I don't really remember, but I did find myself on camera.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll show you later.
That's awesome.
Holding up a South Park sign that
Nice.
says Cartman 316.
Naturally, at that time,
Yep.
So Chris did not know that Stone Cold Steve Austin actually posted his version of his song on Instagram, and I think that would be pretty cool. Now, have any other professional wrestlers or celebrities in general used your music?
Speaking of Shawn Michaels, actually, whatever years back, maybe 3-4 years ago, I forget exactly when, he actually basically used our cover all in the same situation. I think it was Instagram.
That's
or
awesome.
Facebook. It was one of those stories or something like that. And he used
Just
our,
like Stone Cold.
Yep. And we actually had a F1 racer post that he
That is so cool.
uses our cover version of Metalingus as one of his like pump up racing songs before
That's
he goes
cool.
and like,
That is really cool.
which is actually pretty sweet too.
Right now, all you need is Edge or Adam Copeland, as they call him now, to use the version of Metalingus that you made because that's his current AEW theme song.
Yeah, that would be fantastic if that ever happened. That would be sick.
That would be
NASCAR
awesome.
is like one of the most popular sports in the
if not
world.
the most.
No, not the world, really. The world would be soccer. But
Okay.
For the United States, I'd say NASCAR at one
NASCAR,
time. I don't know if it is
F1, all
anymore, but
that.
I remember looking it up back in the day, and NASCAR was the number one sport.
Well,
and it was a lot down south and stuff, you know?
I was going to say technically it was F1, so it's different. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was F1, not
F1.
NASCAR.
See, I don't
yes.
even know the difference.
Yeah,
That's
me
how much I
either.
know about NASCAR,
So
F1.
F1 is the one that they have like those kind of like flatter cars that go like really, really fast.
Okay.
That, like, people actually like
Super low to the ground type
Yeah.
deal. Yeah.
like the movie. Was it Gran Turismo?
Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Love the game. I
Yep.
have 7 for the PlayStation.
So I
It's
think
amazing.
the F1's like the it's basically. You don't want to be doing that as a career. Probably it's very, very dangerous. Like
I'm
NASCAR,
sure.
obviously, is dangerous as well. But F1, you see how fast they're going and the type of circuits. They're doing all that stuff. So
It's insane.
yeah.
Now, Kris, another question I have. This has nothing to do with the song or anything like that. This is just me as a wrestling fan and as a friend to you. In your childhood, who were some of your childhood favorite wrestlers?
I'll be honest with you. I'll mention what I did before. Shawn Michaels.
Mr. WrestleMania.
Lily was probably my ultimate favorite for many, many years. And then when Kane came along, he was like my second.
Dude. When he first came, Kane was cold, man. He was serious. That's gotta be Kane.
He ripped
Bad
the,
Blood
yeah.
97.
He ripped
Bad
the door
Blood
off the Hell in the Cell,
97.
yeah.
He ripped that right off the hinges, ripped the door off the hinges, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is The Undertaker's brother. And I think I was I was still a kid at that time, so I was like, oh my God, I believe
wouldn't
this is
have
his real
thought-
brother.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that they could have done a scenario like that and pulled it off, really. Just
Right,
him having
and it
a
just-
brother that's
It was
supposedly
gold,
burned down
and
in
Paul
the building.
Bearer involved.
And they sold it
you know,
so
was
well.
perfect.
It was like probably one of the best side stories off a wrestler I've seen ever.
Absolutely. Now, for the song Elevated, Will Ospreay's official theme song, what kind of equipment did you use, Kris, for this?
I was using actually my Ibanez RG Prestige.
You've always been an Ibanez guy.
Ibanez guy, yeah. And then we actually used
I own 2.
Manly reference cardioid on Kevin's vocals. And
Nice.
we actually recorded all the vocals in Florida in his apartment, his and his girlfriend's apartment at the time.
Oh, no way.
In Altamont Springs, yeah. And,
That's awesome.
It was a hilarious situation because we were writing and recording a whole bunch of other It Lives, It Breathes tracks along with that. And every night, probably around like 9:30, the upstairs neighbor just kept stomping.
No.
Boom, boom,
Oh,
boom.
I
Yeah,
can't
stomping,
stand
like,
that.
basically yelling. Like, Kevin was yelling and screaming.
Right,
He's a very loud.
He
Yeah.
projects his voice when he
He's
sings.
got some projection, I tell you.
Yeah, he does.
So I literally brought like a mini studio setup over there, and we did that.
Some kind of isolation booth or anything
So
like
basically,
that?
I had one of those, like, what's that brand? Basically, one of those little isolation booths. I forget what brand it is. SE Electronics. That's
Okay.
what it was, yeah.
So, yeah, you attach it right to the microphone stand.
Yeah,
type
so it's
deal.
right to the stand, and I actually brought some panels the best I could. Like, obviously, it could have been recorded better in actual, better situation in the studio, but we were like, we need to get this done
Gotta get
now.
it out. Yeah,
and
right.
we were just like, we tracked it the best we could in that bedroom, and with the
That's awesome.
people stomping and yelling upstairs and all that fun stuff.
You guys are hearing this first here on the Source Wrestling Podcast. This has probably never been talked about. All the different things that these guys did to get this song done. And Kris, did you, as for the guitars, because I'm a big guitar guy, did you use amp sims? Did you use actual live amplification heads? What'd you do for that?
So basically on the guitars, I basically DI'd them, so direct
Okay.
into my computer. I sent them to Kane Shirko, and I know from what he mentioned that he actually sent my playing into guitar amps. He reamped.
Oh, so you did some reamping with
Yep,
that.
so he
Okay.
did reamping and actually used in that.
They sound big.
Yeah, in that big studio he has over there in Nevada with his father, Kevin Shirko, which he's done like Black Sabbath and all these
Oh,
big
that's
artists.
awesome. That's
they,
awesome.
They were able to get some really cool fat tones that really filled up the arena.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, that was something I was definitely interested in too. Being a music guy too, an audiophile, had to know what went into that. And did you play the drums yourself, or did you sample those?
To be honest with you, I'm not that great of a drummer. I literally sampled everything.
That's what I do. I'm
yeah,
not gonna
I'll
lie.
be honest with you, it's just easier,
Yeah, of course.
And obviously, I was in a situation where I was in a bedroom there in Altamont Springs, Florida.
Yeah.
So I had no choice but to program drums out. It was hard to, get a drummer, go to a studio. We didn't have much money. I remember I drove down with basically whatever money I had to stay for like a couple of months. And
Wow.
Basically, I had to be very stingy. You know how it was. Like,
Of course,
as a
man.
musician, we're
Yeah,
always
we've
broke.
all
Even
been
now.
on tours, and
We're all musicians here.
Yeah,
You may know that. Listen,
living like that reminds me, goes back to when I did the whole Vans Warped Tour 2014. Ramen noodles every day, $20 per diems. It's just like, do I eat today or do I buy a pack of cigarettes? It's
absolutely.
like, it's rough, but obviously, at the end product, you can't be happier as you see with this song. It worked. All the struggle you guys put into it, it really worked. So it's been a pleasure having you, Kris. We're really thankful to have you here. To tell all the untold stories about this song that people are going to hear about for the first time ever. While we have you here, is there anything you want to promote? Your social links, any upcoming music, anything at all? Kris, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have a whole bunch of music always coming out, multi-genre, everything from rock, metal, to pop, to
Love
EDM, doing all that stuff. And you could follow me on Instagram, Facebook, pretty much every social media site you could pretty much find that's used. And it's literally just at Kris Sobanski with a K.
Kris with a K.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kris with a K.
It's very important.
And pretty much I'm very active, so you'll see me pretty much everywhere there.
Go follow Kris, guys. This guy works really, really hard. Puts his all into the music. Obviously, it shows. He's got Will Ospreay coming out to his own riffs as his theme song. Kris, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for joining us today. And thanks for being the first ever special guest on the Source Wrestling Podcast.
absolutely.
Thanks for having me. Absolutely.
It's been great. Thank you for coming.
No problem.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now it's time for our Battle Royale segment.
Royale.
We're going to be talking about a lot of different topics that are on our mind, and we have a feeling it might be on your mind as well. So, first topic that we want to talk about is a topic that I have been revisiting every day of my life and searching into Google every day.
Like a mad scientist.
Every single day. You can ask Joe. I type into Google exactly this, which I'll do with you guys right now.
Ready? Here it comes.
MJF News into Google. And I go to see what's going on. Now, I do know...
He's been radio silent for the most part.
He has been, but he also made comments. Remember, he made
Shawn Spears' return.
Yeah.
Yep. We saw this. I think we saw it while we were after a show that we did, or whatever the case may have been. He, wished Shawn Spears well because he was an AEW talent as well. He wished him well, and he said he was kind of bummed that he wasn't going to be able to work with him anymore. So that tells us a lot.
That is a tell. Breaking news from the Source.
Yep.
We
are
feel
loaded tonight
that
with this
those
show.
comments from MJF means that he is staying with AEW.
Yeah.
And maybe Tony Khan, who keeps coming out and saying, I'm trying,
He had
we're
to bring
really
out the
trying.
bank.
Maybe he's just making it seem like a struggle. He might already be signed for all we know and out on injury leave. But since then, today or one day ago, John Cena came out and said that he was a big fan of MJF.
Yeah,
He was
this
floored
was actually
by his professionalism.
If I can take that and run with it, it was the Chris Van Vliet episode that he just dropped yesterday. I listened to the whole thing, probably the best interview that Van Vliet's ever done, and he's doing this with John, and it's over an hour long, and they're talking about the Iron Claw premiere, about how MJF and John Cena had that little moment, and how John Cena was so impressed with this dude and how professional he was. He says he wasn't sure what to expect, and he did also say on Chris Van Vliet's podcast that he told MJF that he hopes someday he's playing for the right team.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of MJF news coming out. He also celebrated a year with his ex-girlfriend. He
Probably already is his ex-girl.
Just
It's MJF.
celebrated a year with his new girlfriend. That was celebrated. There was some personal pictures. Nothing weird, but of them together and happy. And it's good to see his relationship flourishing.
Absolutely.
But hopefully they clean up whatever injuries he's got going on, and we see MJF back. I don't care where he goes. I just need some MJF in my life.
Just need him back. Yeah,
he really carried the brand.
He did. He had that mega world championship run where he, was super duper nuclear heel turned babyface due to Adam Cole, and you could tell during that, close to the end of that run, leading up to the match with Samoa Joe for the strap. The man was tired. He, definitely some well-deserved time off, but we want MJF back. What's going to happen? We'll just have to stay tuned.
Ultimately, I want him in WWE.
Yeah.
I see a 5-year, 6-year plan for him at WWE where he works the Intercontinental title, maybe.
Yeah,
the
that would be a great place
Championship.
to start for him.
Great, yeah. I can see him definitely fitting into the WWE. I think there's room for him. I don't think he'll be lost in the shuffle. I know you're a little worried.
Yeah,
you said he might be watered
worried
down.
about that, but I'm more
he's talent,
worried.
man.
Yeah, his talent is, it's undeniable. It's not so much that I'm worried about him getting lost in the shuffle. I'm more worried about him as a WWE product that he won't be able to be Maxwell Jacob Friedman like he is in AEW, but I could be totally wrong.
You got a great point there, Joe. You really do. But hey, let's move on to our next topic. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Do we need it? Do we want it?
Do we want it?
Is it going to happen? They're heavily, talking about it.
The hints are there.
Hinting on it. We're seeing a lot of Jey getting beat up by Jimmy.
Ruining
out
matches.
of the crowd, this and that. So, Joe, why don't you tell me? How do you feel about this rivalry? Do we need it? Is it necessary? Does it top off WrestleMania? What's the deal?
Right now, do we need it? I'm not sure if we need it, but if we get it, in my honest opinion, I think it will rip to have the two of them go against each other at WrestleMania 40. They've never done that. We had a taste of it in the Royal Rumble, but was that all we really needed?
I think they muffed a little bit. I would have loved to see this rivalry for the Intercontinental title.
Right.
I would have loved to see Jey take that strap from Gunther. He was
like
the only one to take him to the limits.
That was the original plan, is what the dirt sheets say. And if they did that.
That elevates that matchup so much. But I think,
right.
In my opinion, creatives probably thinking we got to involve Gunther in WrestleMania. He's one of our top acts. So we can't take the title from him yet.
Because he needs to get to the main event.
He needs to be in a big match in WrestleMania.
Right.
And that is happening now. But either way, we're getting off topic a little bit. Jimmy versus Jey. Do I think that we need it?
What do you think, Mike?
Yes, but not at WrestleMania. I think we should get that closure at Backlash or SummerSlam or something like that for a title. You're forcing it in a little bit. I'm hoping this is a long build, that this isn't going to happen at WrestleMania.
I feel like WWE is very long game right now. So
hope it's a long game plan for SummerSlam. My brain tells me it's going to happen at WrestleMania. We're going to have Jey versus. I think
they're
it's going to happen.
building for it. They're building for it for sure.
I'm
and
pretty
I won't
good
be mad
at picking
at it.
up on the hints. I am.
Yeah.
So.
No, for sure. And I won't be mad at it. If it happens, I'm here for it. Want to see Jey win, though. I want to see Jimmy take a big WrestleMania L.
Yeah, I mean, everybody does. Very hateable guy. He's playing a good heel. I like it.
He's doing a
he
good
ain't
job.
on Dominic Mysterio's level. But he's working a good heel right now. I like it.
Yes.
So we talked a little bit about, Gunther and this and that.
Kind of leads us into our next topic.
Exactly. Yes. Now we have this, what is it? It's like an 8-man or 6-man.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet match.
Gauntlet match.
For the Intercontinental title.
How does that work, Joe? Break it down.
All right. So all the top contenders right now, Adam Pearce has thrown into a gauntlet match. And how it works is, it starts off with 2 wrestlers. All right. It's like a one-on-one match right now. And, whoever gets pinned is now eliminated, and then the next wrestler makes their entrance and comes out for basically another match.
So I've seen this recently, actually, and it basically means that whoever is first is not winning.
Yeah, I mean,
that's basically what it means.
It's a long shot.
You'd have to be Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
sorry,
right.
but
I know that's a touchy name right now.
But I mean, I'm not going to ignore his existence.
No, you can't. You can't.
He would be one of those guys that could rip through a lineup. They might build Braun Breaker that way,
right?
Where that would really pop him if he ran through a gauntlet from one. It's got to be a player like that.
Yeah, and I
don't see any of those in the
mix
with
all the candidates that they have right now for this gauntlet match. I got it really coming down to second place Chad Gable, and first I'm gonna go out and say I think it's gonna be Sami Zayn. They've had all the build up for it. Him every week talking about finding his way to WrestleMania and to be a champion, and what better way?
And if you don't know the lineup, I got it right here. And it really is a ragtag mixed bunch that I can't understand. But it is. I'm gonna run through it with you right now. Ricochet, totally random. Okay, I don't know why he's
a former Intercontinental champion. Yes, he's the one who Gunther beat.
Okay, so there's the connection. There's the connection.
It's not enough in my opinion.
We have Sami Zayn. So obviously he makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's
Makes the most sense.
He's my favorite to win as well. I
Yeah.
clearly see him, winning this match.
For sure.
JD McDonough, don't know why he's in it.
Yeah.
Kind of another throw-in.
Ivar is in it too, right?
No. Actually, Ivar isn't in it, and that's why on Raw, not to spoil it before we cover it, but that's why he got into that match.
Fair enough.
Because he was mad that he was in the.
I see.
Sami Zayn was in the tournament,
And
he
he's
wasn't,
not.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Oh, they had
he's,
that little segment.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
So basically, you got Chad Gable. He obviously deserves to be in it
For sure.
Love it. Shinsuke, he's been battling a lot with people.
Uh-huh.
I think maybe you could make your argument for him.
Yeah.
And then you got the big Bronson Reed. So my top two choices in this one personally would be Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed, with a Sami Zayn and Chad Gable.
That's
I
where
really
I'm
was
at.
a fan of those Chad Gable Gunther matches.
They
That's a
were
WrestleMania caliber
mega
match
matches.
right there. You know,
For sure.
It's not going to
But
happen.
Sammy
though.
too.
Yeah.
Sammy would be the one. I
Bronson
would say.
Reed number 3 maybe for me in that fight. But
That's pretty much
who's
where
your
we're
number
at.
1 and number 2? I know number 1 is Sami Zayn.
Number
for you
1
as
was
well,
Sami
but-
Zayn. Yeah, like I said a minute ago, number 1, Sami. I see Chad Gable close second, because he's got the whole family storyline where, his daughter cried after Gunther beat him, and he promised his daughter that he was going to do that. And I think he's going to, if he doesn't do this in the gauntlet match, he's going to come damn close.
But this will be match what between them? And
My
I get
God.
we're getting that
I
already
know.
with McIntyre
I know.
and Seth Rollins. They're doing round 3,
Yes.
but it's 3 at least, right?
At least.
3 makes sense.
At least,
But
yeah.
I feel this is 4 for Gable.
Yeah,
Is it?
he's had quite a few chances.
We'll have to look that up and get
yeah,
back to
we'll
you.
have to get that solid. But
It just seems like a lot of
it's
Gable.
been a lot. Yes,
Points me towards Sammy winning this
yeah,
thing.
and
I mean, why
especially-
would he say, I'm going to WrestleMania
I'm going to
unless
be a
he's getting-
champion, and we know he's not in the Universal title match. He's not in the World Heavyweight title match.
I'm going to be honest with
You
you,
know.
I don't see him winning the match if he goes.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think Sami Zayn is the guy
To
that takes
dethrone
down
Gunther. But what if that's what everyone else is thinking, and they just pull the trigger and do it? Imagine. I think that pop, no matter
Rock and roll. I mean,
No-
I
no
just
matter
wanna
who
see,
takes it.
Gunther lose to like a Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Somebody that's really, come on, that crowd pop, he deserves it.
It's
and
huge.
LA Knight, put
I
LA
know.
Knight in the
They're doing him
Intercontinental
dirty.
match,
I mean, they might have big plans.
they
for
are
him.
doing him dirty. I don't want
feel
to
like they're
sugarcoat
doing
this.
him-
They are doing that man
They are
dirty.
doing him dirty right
Yeah.
now. LA Knight is a top guy.
Yeah.
He's put his time in, 20 plus years in the business. He needs gold. I mean, he doesn't need gold to be as good as he is right now, but he deserves gold. For everything that he's done. The only thing he's ever won besides that pointless Slim Jim Battle Royal, which was cool, he won it. The only other thing he's ever won was the $1 Million Championship, the Ted DiBiase title that he won when he was in NXT as LA Knight. And that's the only piece of gold that he has won so far. And obviously he's come so far. Give the man his flowers. He needs a title.
Yeah.
We've been saying it. Logan
It's gotta
Paul
be
versus
coming.
LA Knight.
I'm hoping that, we'll see. Does Logan Paul have his match yet for?
It's not
no.
set.
So
It's not set.
there we go. I mean,
And he's not in LA. Is not in the gauntlet match. So maybe.
which he should be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
I agree. Even though he doesn't really have any rivalry going with Gunther right now, this man needs to be in a top caliber match at WrestleMania.
absolutely. Moving forward, we have Sting's last match, and Joe. If you guys don't know it by now, Joe is
Yeah.
the bigger AEW fan. I'm a fan. I watch
Yeah.
it all. I more casually watch it. He more intently watches it. So more of
Yes.
this AEW stuff, it's going to be him taking the
Yeah.
wheel. And likewise with me and NXT.
Exactly.
I love NXT.
Mike's our NXT guy. I try to keep up with what I can. I have my favorites there.
We
But
got to split it up to cover it all. Divide
exactly,
and conquer, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I
So,
watch all the WWEs and as we're about the same with WWE.
Yeah.
But NXT and
is Mike's
AEW is where we split kind
Yes.
of in how involved we are.
For sure.
Yeah.
And to take the reins on this one, Sting's final match, an illustrious almost 40-year career. One of my favorite wrestlers, probably the first action figure I remember having was a Sting figure.
I don't know if I ever had one.
The Crow Sting. It was the
I have to go
WCW
dig through
figure.
my tub of wrestlers.
Right? It was the Crow Sting figure. It was a really crappy model by WCW, and it had like this red button on the side of it that if you held it, it just vibrated.
See, I remember that cat. That
I'm sure you
action
do.
figure, but I did
Yes.
not think I had. I think I had the Hulk Hogan one.
Yep, there was a
and the
Hollywood Hogan
Goldberg
one.
or
There was
something like that,
Goldberg,
yeah.
Kevin Nash, Scott Hall,
And
all
Goldberg had the title title. I think
You know,
he came with the title. Or
Goldberg
something.
was a great one too. But as for Sting, man, this man is a legend. To see his final match go the way that it did, I was extremely happy.
A plus, great job. It's
Good
the
job.
Best career-ending match I've ever seen.
And
in
they
my
said
life.
they said that Sting had full control over this. He's the one who handpicked the Young Bucks to do this, and obviously with Darby, you know, he's that's a given. He was choosing him for sure. And to have
passing the torch to Darby, I love
to
it.
have another title reign under his belt to go out like that. And what really got me was not only the intro package where he's just sitting in an empty theater watching
Perfectly done.
Yes.
That's cinema right there.
Yes.
That was great.
Watching all
It's
of his
Showtime.
Yeah, for the last time. Watching all of his big moments, NWA moments, his rivalry with Flair and tag teams with Luger and all these guys who were there that night in attendance. The thing that made me pop the most.
What's going on with Lex? Why is he in a wheelchair? You know what's going on with him?
I don't know the whole story. He's been in this wheelchair for a long time. Some kind of ailment there. I can't really comment because I'm not sure. It does suck to see him like that. But the thing I popped for the most for Sting's final match was not even part of the match. It was his entrance. The entrance was huge. His music hits, and Surfer Sting comes out, and at first you're like, oh, okay, you know, is he throwing back to his old self on this? But it's actually one of his sons dressed like Surfer Sting. Second one comes out, it's his other son dressed like Wolfpack Sting, and I actually just found out today that those attires, both outfits that his sons were wearing were the original Sting outfits that he wore all those years ago.
Well, that's awesome.
It is awesome.
And let me just interject and say that Lex Luger is suffering from nerve paralysis.
There you go.
He's
There you
actually
go.
is paralyzed in his legs. And it
Seems
says
to
that
keep
he,
it positive.
there's a little snippet here. I injured my neck on an airplane from Atlanta, he says, to San Francisco. The way I had turned my neck while sitting on the plane basically cut off my blood flow.
Wow.
It was a freak accident, but it caused massive swelling from my C6 vertebrae at the base of your neck and my D5 in my chest, paralyzed me from the neck down.
Yeah, so unfortunately,
crazy?
That happened to the total package.
Somebody's so strong and
I
such
know.
an all-American
Yeah,
man, and he
dude.
goes down from sleeping wrong on his neck.
Yeah, man. And he was out there as, you know, as were multiple legends for Sting's final match. But the entrance was my favorite part. Him and his two sons dressed up as his former selves. That really did it for me. You know, he got him involved in the ring. We had Stinger splashes all the way around from both of his
Ric
sons.
Flair getting
Yep,
involved.
Flair was involved.
We had Steamboat
Ricky
getting
the
involved.
Dragon
and
was
getting
involved.
A bump.
Yeah, that guy
both took a bump.
that guy can still go. Flair,
Steamboat took a bump off the apron.
he did.
So
and obviously he's in the better shape.
can we just talk about Darby Allin though? We got to talk about Sting this whole
okay.
time. Can we talk
Okay.
about Darby Allin? What happened?
Darby Allin, fearless man. This big spot. You know, Jeff Hardy on steroids is how I like to describe him. Not actually steroids, but just like, you know, amplified to 1,000. He gets on this, it has to be a 15, 20-foot ladder, and one of the Young Bucks is down at the bottom, and there's a glass pane being held up by a few chairs, and Darby gets up there and swanton bombs off of this ladder through the glass pane, and you wonder if Darby is even alive after this bump. And I know we say that a lot when he takes these big bumps, but you know, you kind of had to know he was going to go hard for Sting's last match. And I also learned today that the Young Bucks had an alternate ending planned that they were going to use if Darby couldn't get up after that spot. They had practiced that spot. They had stunt coordinators, all this stuff to make sure it was done the best way possible. And fortunately for Darby and everyone in the match, it worked out. He was able to finish the match and go with the original finish, you know, but insane, really, really risky spot. Was it needed? I'm not sure. Fans in attendance are claiming to be hurt from the glass.
They knew what they were getting into. There were signs and everything.
AEW had
to
disclaimers.
be complaining that you got hit by glass when you were in the war zone. Get out of here.
Yeah. You know, so Sting's final match, very, very poetic, very cinematic. It's very, very cool that he went out on top. With him winning his final match, his entire AEW career, he can say he went undefeated. He was never beaten once. Not once. You know, and I think Tony Khan really respected that, and they all respect Sting so much.
He did not go out in his back, and I love the trend setting. I love it.
Yeah, that's how you do a final match. All these old school guys, that old school mentality's got to go. You send him out on top. So what if he has a title? They'll have a tournament to see who's the next tag team champions.
The match definitely put the Young Bucks even more over.
It did.
It didn't do them any disservice.
They're working that heel EVP angle very, very well.
And what a better way than to have a feud against the most likable guy in AEW, literally.
The icon, Sting.
That's right.
Great final match. Really happy with it. Sucks that it's over, but we always have all the footage to go back and watch.
Yeah, we can always rewatch all the good times.
Shout out to Stinger.
Not have him overdo it or get old and not look good in the ring. Like
exactly.
He did it right to the end.
Yep, like Taker did. Unfortunately, he didn't know when to stop.
There's nothing's tainted.
Tainted. And to end this, I just want a notable thing that really was like, wow, okay, Sting, you're really going all in here. He went through one of those glass panes as well.
Yeah, he did.
He did in the corner, and that was big. He did
like a roll into it.
Yeah, and could have went sour. You saw Darby Allin's back after he went through that, and much respect for Sting. The last match, we salute you. You are a legend, and that's really where I'm at with Sting's final match. It was great.
Well, to wrap this Battle Royal conversation up, we want to talk about something that has been on all of our minds as wrestling fans for a while now. It started with the L. Instead of putting up the finger,
what is he doing?
What's The Rock doing? Is he gonna turn on Roman at WrestleMania, or what's gonna happen here? I don't know if it's gonna happen at WrestleMania. They could play this out for a year.
They surely could.
I don't know, but
they surely could.
The fact is that it seems like it's heavily hinted that The Rock is gonna turn on Roman Reigns. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, man. Just from looking at the little cues and all the little hints and stuff, like the whole acknowledgement part of it, where everyone's throwing up the 1 and The Rock just starts by throwing up the L, you can call it.
Yeah, but why would he publicly acknowledge The Rock? If he is, I don't know. He's on record publicly. That was a weird moment for me.
It was weird.
It kind of, I don't know,
Roman was like, "Oh, I just need you to do one thing." After he took his, catchphrase away, I need you to acknowledge me. And in my head, I'm like, "This is The Rock. This is the high chief."
And then he let Roman finish the saying when he did it.
Yeah, what the bloodline is cooking, and that shows that they're super locked in. But like I said on a previous episode, a week or two back, is he playing undercover secret agent Hollywood Rock? And when it comes down to it, him and Cody at WrestleMania, The Rock gets involved and seals that win for Cody.
So my question to you, Joe, then, and I'll answer my own question after you do.
Yep.
If The Rock turns on Roman Reigns, how does it happen?
What's
the storyline? Okay. Where does it break? What's going on?
Not even going to try to give it too much thought. It's just, if you ask that question, my brain automatically goes to a moment in the match. Everyone's down. It's been. Are
you talking WrestleMania?
WrestleMania.
Okay, so you think it might happen at WrestleMania? That's your prediction?
That's me.
We're doing predictions.
That's me. Yep. Okay. WrestleMania 40. I think it happens. There's a moment in the match where everybody's laid out. There's a ref bump or something like that, and The Rock comes out, and you're like, "Oh, here we go. Cody's gonna lose this again."
But we have to backtrack. Are you assuming that this is gonna be a Bloodline Rules match?
Yeah.
Or is this
okay? With this prediction,
the Bloodline Rules
with this
match,
prediction, I think Roman and Rock find a way to slip by Cody and Seth, and they take that win. So now it's Bloodline Rules. Okay, and you have interferences, of course, but I think this interference is going to be from The Rock. Ref is out cold, nowhere to be seen, and it looks like he's sizing up Cody for that rock bottom or that spine buster, and all of a sudden he attacks Roman Reigns with it, hits that spine buster, rock bottom, people's elbow. Then naturally the ref awakens, and Cody hits 7 crossroads in a row.
I'm going to double down.
Okay.
Who do you think wins the tag team match?
The tag team match.
I'm so hung up on that.
I know.
Do Cody and Rollins win it, and then
there's no bloodline interference?
Because I feel like they do the tag team match so that Roman can have a win, and then Cody can have a win.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. You know what I mean? So they
my
split
wrestling
it, or does
brain,
it go all? Because I mean, there's so much riding on this. Seth Rollins wants to end the bloodline
everything
once and for all. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like I really do think my prediction. Are you done with your prediction? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yep.
Okay. So my prediction is, part of me thinks
tough.
that they bring this into a third year, and there's a third
Oof.
Roman Reigns Cody
Roman
matchup
retains,
for the title,
beats Hogan's record.
you know, and then maybe, I don't know.
It's so
I'm gonna
tough
say
to
this,
call.
okay? I'm gonna say this. If it happens at WrestleMania, it happens like this, okay? They lose. Cody and Rollins lose that match. It becomes a Bloodline Rules match.
Right.
And then during the match, it's basically, I would say that it's something along the lines of there's Roman, there's Solo, there's Jimmy. I think possibly it could be a Bloodline ending moment where The Rock takes, The Rock, Solo, and Jimmy turn their backs on Roman.
Okay.
And then Roman
all of them.
disappears.
Bloodline ends.
Because I feel like when Roman drops the title, he disappears for a while.
a long time, I think, yes.
And then The Rock can continue his heel Bloodline story for a little while. If he is in the long game, because he's saying he's here for the long game, maybe he carries the Bloodline and they add another Bloodline member.
For sure.
They sign one because it's more out there,
Right, exactly.
I don't know. It's a weird prediction, but it's hard to predict.
It's tough.
That's my prediction.
We don't know
It's
what's
hard
going to happen. They are in long game mode right now, so you never know. We obviously want to hear everyone else's thoughts on this. We'll have some Q&A stuff up on the Spotify after this comes out and everything like that. We want to know what you guys think, too.
What do you think? Let us know. We're so curious what you guys
We
think.
need to know. And that's going to wrap everything up for today, guys. This is a real big episode for us. First ever special guest. I really hope you guys enjoyed us talking with Kris about the creation of Will Ospreay's theme song, Elevated. Maybe we'll have him on again and talk about some other stuff.
What a wrestling treat
it
we
was.
had for you guys
It
today.
really
I
was
hope
today.
that people get to listen to that.
Absolutely. And before we go, we're going to end the show the way we always do, with a little bit of On This Day in Wrestling History.
Now, as we open up this segment of On This Day in Wrestling History, we're celebrating some current wrestlers' birthdays. One of which is I believe, a WWE call-up, because he's been playing on the main roster lately.
Oh, yeah.
That's Tyler Bate.
Yes.
It's his birthday
The big,
today.
strong boy.
Yeah, he was born in 1997. Believe it or not,
he's
12
young.
years after me.
Jeez,
boy,
we're not
I'm
going
old.
to talk about that.
Yep. Chase Owens. It's his birthday today.
Nice.
He was born in 1990. Angelico, apparently is a wrestler. You heard of this wrestler?
I'm not sure.
1987. A couple years younger than me.
Same.
And Bruce Pritchard.
Yep, big
1963.
big wig backstage, WWE and F for a very long time.
And then Sergeant Craig Pittman, 1959.
Oh, we wish a happy birthday to all of them. And on this day in wrestling history, in 1999, March 7th, 1999, Kurt Angle, Olympic hero, makes his WWF, at the time, television debut on Sunday Night Heat when Tiger Ali Singh called him into the ring. Kurt Angle was in the crowd, actually, to watch the show, and he was offered $5,000 by Singh to blow his nose on the American flag. Angle then agreed, but when Singh had his back turned, Angle then blew his nose on the Indian flag, and Singh actually tried to attack Kurt, but was met with a suplex, and then one more, for that extra stamp on it. And that happened in 1999, and we don't even have to say what happened next. He went on a legendary run, did Kurt Angle.
Absolutely. And on this day in wrestling history, in 2016, on a WWE Raw from Chicago, Illinois, is our boy CM Punk's hometown.
Oh, yes.
Chris
Best in the
Jericho.
world.
Yep, Chris Jericho officially turns on his partner AJ Styles after a WWE Tag Team Championship loss to the New Day. The turn, marked by 2 code breakers from Jericho, marked the end of a short-lived Y2AJ tag team and set the two on a collision course towards WrestleMania 32.
I like it. And that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Once again, you're listening to The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast. We are available on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Really, guys, we really appreciate you listening. Please rate the show, follow the show. These things really help us a lot, and it can help us also get more special guests like what we had today. Once again, you are listening to The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast with Joe
And
Mike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us talk to
talk
ya.
to ya.
We'll talk to you next time. Yeah.